We're literally hunted every day / every time we step foot outside the comfort of our homes.
Why does LeBron feel that black people are hunted every day / every time, as he said in the tweet? What is the risk of dying black and unarmed at the hands of the police? And would we be better as a country if we defunded the police altogether?
There are a lot of tough questions to ask. And before we say anything, we need to start from this premise. All Black lives matter. We want to begin by emphasizing that what we want is more safety for the Black community.
The question is, how do we actually do that? How do we protect the most Black lives as possible? And what many on the left claim is that fewer police, or defunding the police, will actually save Black lives. There are a lot of claims being made, so rather than taking my word for it, or anybody else's word for it, let's just look at the numbers.
There were 999 cases of lethal force used by the police in 2019, according to the Washington Post. That sounds like a lot, but with roughly 10 million arrests happening every year, that means the likelihood of getting shot and killed during an arrest is 0.0099%.
But wait, how many of the 999 were Black and unarmed? In 2019, the number of people of all races that were unarmed, not fleeing, and were shot and killed by the police was 32. And how many of those were Black? 5.
All lives are precious, and 5 is 5 too many. But in a country of 330 million plus Americans, there are approximately 10 million arrests made every year. So even if you are being arrested, if you are unarmed and not fleeing from the police, your chance of being shot and killed is 1 in 312,500.
Basically, if you're not wielding a weapon and not running away from police during arrest, you have a higher likelihood of dying by lightning strike than you do at the hands of the police. Again, every life is precious, and every life matters, and all innocent lives deserve protection.
Remember, the issue here that we're addressing is, should we defund the police? Is that actually going to help more lives than it hurts? Because at the end of the day, in the words of economist Thomas Sowell, there are no perfect solutions, only trade-offs.
So, what do we do? How do we protect more Black lives? There is evidence to suggest that the police play a huge role in preventing crime and death. Having fewer police, which ultimately, what defunding the police is meant to do, will result in more Black deaths. Because when cops take a step back from the community, like is being suggested from the left, it leaves people more vulnerable to criminals.
This is almost exactly what economists Roland Fryer and Tanaya Devi discovered in a paper from June 2020 entitled Policing the Police: The Impact of Pattern or Practice, Investigations on Crime. Fryer and Devi looked at 5 cities where viral incidents of police and civilian interactions had taken place and where subsequent investigations of those police departments occurred. Basically, what they found in these 5 cities was that, quote, all investigations that were preceded by viral incidents of deadly force have led to a large and statistically significant increase in homicides and total crime. We estimate that these investigations caused almost 900 excess homicides and almost 34,000 excess felonies, unquote. Basically, when the police departments were investigated, they likely stepped back from actively policing the communities due to political pressure, and there was a corresponding spike of deaths and felonies afterward.
This is likely why, according to a 2019 Gallup poll, that 81% of Black Americans want the police to spend the same amount of time or more time in their communities. I'm not here to say that reform is not needed in police methods. In fact, there have been good attempts made, such as the Justice Act, proposed in 2020 by Republican Senator Tim Scott, which, according to NPR, included, and I quote, incentives for police departments to ban chokeholds, more disclosure requirements about the use of force and no-knock warrants, and penalties for false reports. It also includes emergency grant programs for body cameras, makes lynching a federal hate crime, and creates a commission to study the conditions facing Black men and boys. But again, it was a Republican bill, and Senate Democrats, unfortunately, killed the bill on the Senate floor.
It's really easy to use the fear of vulnerable minority populations for political gain. The evidence suggests that crime is a far greater threat to black communities, or in other words, to all black lives.
All communities and all black lives need the police, an imperfect organization, but one that's trying to help the vulnerable in millions of cases. And defunding the police would only hurt all of those communities, especially minority ones.
The evidence is clear. We need more good policing and less politics.